carried out by the mob too. But David Amos is an expert in that field. That file that I mentioned, the deputy prime minister, I should say, ordered an investigation be carried out on this file. This file outlines not only those murders, a murder of a high-level Native activist, and bank fraud. And that's what it's all about, people. Money. And David Amos is an expert in that field. He's well known by all levels of government, the RCMP in particular, and he has had his go-arounds, believe me, more so than me. More so than me. And David, want to say a few words? David Amos.
Good day, folks. I don't know if you can hear.
Hold it up a little closer.
Good day, folks. Frankie makes me sound like somebody.
Right up closer, but you gotta keep it right up.
Frankie boy makes me sound like somebody, but to lighten things up a bit, you mentioned FBI wiretap tapes. If anybody likes listening to episodes of The Sopranos but wants to hear real life, all you have to do is Google David Raymond Amos, wiretap tape number 139. There's a little player up in the corner. Press play. You can listen to 45 minutes in the life of a mobster named Al. And if you like Tony Soprano, you like tapes are for real, but they're minor. I've been a whistleblower against the RCMP since the early 80s. I've testified against them in coroner's inquiries. The RCMP used to hire me as an expert witness until I testified against them. And then immediately I'm a Hell's Angel and a drug dealer. I'm none. Now I see on the internet they call me a pedophile, etc., etc. That's just the Crown trying to cover up the truth. The truth is in the documents, easily viewable on the internet. Just type in David Amos. I'm very well known. If you want to see my dealings with Julian Assange before he was famous, type in David Amos and Julian Assange. If you want to see me take on the BC Attorney General, Wall-Eyed Wally Opal in 2005 before I ran for Parliament again, type in David Amos, Liberal Premier. If you want to see me take on Jim Prentice, type in David Amos, Jim Prentice. Any name crosses your mind. Wonder if David Amos has butted heads with him? You can see documents on the internet signed by Attorney Generals, U.S. Attorneys, U.S. Special Counsels, Anne McClellan, you name it. I got the mother load. I challenge anybody to sue me. Please to sue me. They keep trying to lock me up. I say, fuck the RCMP. In no uncertain terms, I'm going to sue them. There's a Crown Liability Act. They've refused to act within the scope of their employment. They've covered up murder, financial crimes, their own links to the mafia. These guys need a hard lesson. I'm here to sue them. I see an officer of the court looking at me. You are an officer of the court. You're obliged to uphold the laws. You practice law for a fee. If I serve you these documents, you must give them to the cops. Walk away. That is the way lawyers are. They're part of the club. Us and them. Bet you don't have a name, do you, sir? There's the fellow members of the RCMP. I don't know. I think everybody walked away on me. Anyway, if the cops think they have jurisdiction on me, they got to take my documents today. Otherwise, I sue them. There you go, Frankie boy.
Thank you, David. Suing them is too good for them. I want these people arrested. I want these people arrested I want warrants for their arrest, and that's what I'm seeking in federal court. I want financial compensation, you bet, for the 2 years that they stopped me from working. But I want warrants for their arrest, is what I want. I want the people that are responsible for covering up murders, pedophilia, everyone that I mentioned. I want a warrant for their arrest. And I have a whole list that I'm going to be taking to federal court and suing them. And it's not just me now. There is thousands of people that know that it's a waste of time in the provincial court, and we are all going to go to federal court and sue the Crown. And then we'll find out how much corruption is in this system as a whole. Because if I face the same corruption in a federal court as I face in this provincial court, we have some serious problems on our hands. And I don't know if it can be fixed. I'm hoping that it can. Like I said, I don't think everybody in our system is corrupt. I think there's just a few key people, politicians included, that want to hide the truth. They always talk about transparency. Well, here I am. I'm as transparent as you can get. But not them. You'll notice no media down here today. The last time my wife and I were here, the free press showed up. Took pictures, took it at an interview, the whole 9 yards. Not one word was printed in the paper. All of the documents, everything that I've been through, I have faxed to CTV, Global News, CBC, all of the major mainstream media. They won't say one word. Not a word. They don't want to talk about the murders that the ministry is involved in. They don't want to talk about the pedophiles involved with the ministry and the provincial government. They don't want to talk about cops murdering people. They don't want to talk about that on the mainstream media. That's left up to guys like me, Arthur Topham, Lenny Landrum, David Amos, and many others to speak of these things. And we get attacked. We get attacked on a daily basis. My phone is tapped. I don't care what I say on my phone because everything I say is true. These people know it. They all know it. The problem is that the ordinary, everyday person living on the streets, living a life of despair that's been put on you by this system, are not hearing the message. That's why I'm here today. And that's why the rest of these guys came too. And you look on YouTube and tell all your friends, tell everybody you know to look on YouTube at radicalpress.com or Frank Frost, RCMP, and court corruption, and you will see everything that was said here today. Not only will you see everything that was said here today, you'll also see many other things that I've talked about and other people talk about on that website and on that YouTube channel. You want information? A wealth of information. Look on Radical Press and Google David Amos rant, and you'll see a wealth of information of corruption by politicians and cops and judges and lawyers who, by the way, swear allegiance to the Crown when they represent you against the Crown. So if I were you, I'd be really careful, especially of what you're involved in. Your lawyer may well be working for them and not you. That's been the case with me, I know that. But there's thousands of people, tens of thousands, going through the same thing in this province and across this country. And we all have to take the responsibility for that. We have a moral and social responsibility to make sure that the people that we employ to work for us do their jobs to the best of their ability and not work for the crown. That's not who pays them. You and me pay them, the people. But they seem to think that because they work for the crown, they work for the people. Well, that's not true. Not true at all. They prove it every day in there. They proved it to me every time I stood in front of a judge in there. Every time I stood in front of a judge. There's no easy answers to this. But the best answer I can give you is to stand up and speak out. If you know something about what these people are doing, speak up. Tell people. Go on YouTube. Put it on a website. Tell me. Call me. You go on YouTube. You go on YouTube. You can call my number. 250-569-0338. And I'll tell your story for you. You don't want your name mentioned? That's fine. But tell me the names of the social workers and the judges and the lawyers and the cops that were involved. And I'll name them and shame them for you. Because that's the problem. Nobody shames these people. And they should all be ashamed of what they did to me, my wife, and my children. The despair they put in her life. She's now a drunk.
Don't tell Amos what he's going to do us too.
Smokes crack. Sleeps in a car.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? I think if you would say this, my daughter got arrested.
Give her the mic. What did you say?
A month. No, not a month. Sorry. Not yesterday, but the day before. She got arrested. First they phoned an ambulance for her because she was all after about crack or whatever she was doing. And along came with the ambulance the cop. And I haven't heard from her since then. So I'm just wondering like, what the hell happened to her.
Is she incarcerated?
We phoned the hell.
Give her the mic.
She's not there.
Give her the mic.
We phoned the hell. She's not there. I phoned the cop station. She's not there. All they said was phone the hospital. I phoned there. She's not there. So again, I'm going to go to the cop station and see how she is. Ever since the cop station.
Okay, well, what's your name?
2 days ago.
Sharon Bridget, your name? Bridget?
Give Frank your
And
number.
what's your daughter's name?
Nicole Daniel. She goes by Nicole Bridget, but it's Nicole Daniel.
Okay, so she's been missing now for 2 days? 2 days? Well, the cops are obligated to investigate her disappearance.
Give Frank your number.
Yeah, what's your phone number?
I stay at the shelter.
Okay. And that's what I'm talking about, honey. Is that people down here have no voice. No voice whatsoever. It means nothing to these people that you go missing. Your daughter goes missing. Your son, your husbands, everybody goes missing. Doesn't mean anything to these people. But it means something to me.
I thought you were fucking nuts and I was going like, let's sit here and listen to this crazy person for a while. And then I kind of figured out what you were talking about. So I just thought, okay, I'm going to like...
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you did.
I'm going to tell you something. Barry Seymour went missing. In 2012, he went missing. And he hasn't been found still yet. And nobody has did nothing about him. He's a native. He's a First Nation. And somebody should start doing something about him. Like everybody. Bachrach, Yankee, everyone. They should start standing together and asking who did that to Barry. I want to know what happened to Barry. I want to know.
I think everybody does.
We all want to know what happened to Barry.
Thank you, ladies.
But the likelihood, thank you ladies, thank you for sharing. We all want to know what happened to Barry. And the hundreds of others. 1,700 missing women across this country. Native women. Native women. In any other country, that would be called a genocide. But not here. Oh no. That's normal everyday thing, right? Totally expendable. Wasn't enough that they had nothing but to spare in their lives. Wasn't enough. They had to get rid of them anyway. And this, what these two women were just talking about, is exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm talking about. Nothing is done. The cops are obligated to go and look for her daughter. She's been missing for 2 days. And I'll bet that they won't even so much as get in the car and drive around the block to have a look for her. They probably already know she was in their custody. What happened to her? What happened to her? In their custody 2 days ago. Now she's missing. Questions. More questions than answers. That's what we get. More questions than answers. But these people have no one to answer to. No consequence whatsoever. None. They don't have the answer to a soul. Not a soul. Doesn't mean a thing. Not for 1 minute did they have to answer any questions to you, me, or anybody. Oh, it's all a privacy issue. Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the things they hide behind. It's the Privacy Act. Yeah. That way, they can hide all the murders, all the pedophiles, the whole 9 yards. They don't have to answer any questions. Oh no. No, that's a privacy issue. Yeah. Well, I don't think that pedophilia, murder, kidnapping, numerous other charges that you and I would go to prison for is legal for them. That's why I'm asking to have these people arrested. And that's what needs to happen. We have to show that these people can't do these things. If they do, they'll be arrested. Just like you, just like me. That's what we need to send. That's the message they need to know. They need to know that they are culpable for their actions. You want to say something else?
Just like Claire Wiley, the RCMP killed him, and I think there should be another inquest about him. What they did to him wasn't fair. I love my fucking cousin.
I know that Wiley story. I got that on my YouTube channel and my website. They beat him to death. They beat him to death. Dragged him around like a piece of meat. Dragged him around like a piece of meat. And none of those cops were charged criminally. I have the video from the cop station on my website. Obviously, they beat the man to death, stood around, watched him bleed to death, and I don't care what kind of crime he committed. Nobody deserves to be treated like a dog. Less than a dog. If you did that to a dog, you'd be in prison.
You know what? They think just because he was an addict doesn't mean he wasn't human. He was human, and he had family. He had a lot of family, and he had people that loved him. And they had no rights doing that to him. Claire Wiley, they have another inquest into Clear while he's dead.